Lake Park, Florida. The staff at this towing company doesn't know it yet, but a mind-blowing encounter is about to horrifically shatter their lives. A 51-year-old man wants access to his impounded car.
Hi, good morning.
But with no identification, he's not allowed anywhere near the vehicle.
I gotta get my stuff out of the car.
He was frantic to get into the car, and they talked to him and just explaining to him very nicely what he needed.
But as his anger spirals out of control, owner Catherine Gadori suspects the man is high on drugs and calls the police.
Hi, this is Lake Park Towing. Could you send an officer, please?
With cops on the way, the enraged man issues an ominous threat.
I've had it. I really have.
You're going to jail.
Okay? Well, you know what? Then we're going to end it right now.
Seething, the brute walks to his truck and retrieves an AK-47. He opens fire. A barrage of lead rips right through the walls of the office. The employees dive for cover, and Catherine frantically dials 911.
Honey, shots fired.
Yeah, what's wrong?
I don't know, a man went crazy. Please send someone.
I was worried about my people. All I cared about was them because I love them so much. They're my family.
The assault rifle finally runs out of ammo. But this nightmare isn't over. The renegade is packing a 9mm backup, and he intends to fire every last round. A bullet tears into Catherine's hip.
Please, I'm hurt.
Were you hit with a gun, ma'am?
Yeah, I've been shot.
Okay,
I'm bleeding.
listen to me.
Cut.
Then the man storms inside and unloads his pistol. Just off camera, another shot hits its mark. The dispatcher is struck in the arm.
Then I heard her start screaming, "I'm hit, I'm hit." And I'm just saying, God, please don't let her be hurt bad.
At last, the rogue retreats. Just as an officer roars up to the scene,
Put the gun down! Put the gun down!
the homicidal suspect ignores the order to surrender and takes dead aim at the cop. Inside, manager Noah Newhouse gets a surge of adrenaline. Grabbing a gun, Catherine keeps in a lockbox.
It's like survival mode kicked in, you know. Couldn't take the chance of letting him come back in the building because I think he would have finished everybody off.
The officer at the front bumper nails the assailant with a hail of bullets. But incredibly, he won't go down. That's when Noah goes from manager to marksman. He fires 3 precision shots. And the grisly gunfight is finally over.
He was still breathing, he was still alive, and he says, "I'm done, I'm done, I'm done." That's what he kept saying.
Medics rush both of the wounded employees to the hospital, where they make full recoveries. But Catherine still carries a permanent reminder of her brush with death. A slug embedded in her hip. The gun-toting perp lives to be charged with 5 counts of attempted murder. After the shooting spree brought ruthless horror into their business, the employees here are just grateful that their tow yard didn't become a graveyard. Coffee County, Georgia. Undercover agents have just busted a drug dealer. They uncover a stash of thousands of dollars in cash and drugs. Mostly illegal painkillers that are widely abused in their neck of the woods. Then police get an idea. stick around and catch the buyers. When customers drop in, the officers are ready to spring their trap. The cop has his story all set. And they seal the deal with a trip to county lockup. Buyers arrive in all ages and sexes.
Oh, that's all he gave me. That's what Laura said. That's a good pain pill. Yeah. How many you want?
I'm 635, right?
Yeah.
But all the deals end the same.
Okay.
For the next several days, authorities make a killing. In all, 18 arrests are made. A major success in keeping users and dealers off the street.
In one of the most unbelievable scenes ever caught on camera, a man is shot at point-blank range and ducks behind a slender tree as bullets fly. It's Halloween, October 31st, 2003. Reporters are outside the Van Nuys courthouse to cover a hearing in the murder trial of actor Robert Blake. But the real drama caught on camera that day is this.
I just went down on all fours to try to scramble away from it. I knew something bad had happened. I didn't know exactly what it was. 53-year-old Los Angeles attorney Gerald Curry is leaving the courthouse after attending a hearing about a medical trust fund case. A heavy-set man wearing glasses confronts him and asks if he is Mr. Curry. And I said, yes, who are you? I just remember an incredibly loud pop or bang.
Television news crews hear it too and scramble to the scene.
There was a lot of people screaming, you know, oh my God, oh my God.
I went behind the tree. I was very scared as he approached me with the gun outstretched.
At first, witnesses don't know what's going on. Some think a movie is filming. Maybe it's fireworks or a crazy prank. Sunny Kang, in her Hooters girl Halloween costume, is on a payphone close by.
I heard the loud noise, and I turned around really quick, and the first thing I see is the older white guy. He had a gun in his hand. I was gonna, like run too, but for some reason my feet wouldn't move. I was shocked, like, oh my God.
The gunman is 64-year-old William Stryer. He's angry because he says Curry is one of the people responsible for withholding his money from a trust fund. Calmly, Stryer continues to shoot from one side of the tree to the other, with Curry bobbing and weaving from side to side.
And he was just like a rabbit, just left and right, left and right. I mean, as soon as you heard a pop, he was moving.
He hit me in the right forearm, and he hit me on the left shoulder where the bullet went in and out, and he hit me under the left arm that went out my back and also grazed my underarm.
Finally, after what seems like an eternity, Stryer is out of bullets. He puts the gun in his jacket pocket and nonchalantly walks away.
He did not break stride. He just came right up to me, and he cocked his head and he said, he deserves what he got. And then we just started walking.
That's when I was crying on the phone saying, oh my God, he needs a paramedic right away.
A bloodied and bewildered Curry stumbles out from behind the tree and collapses onto the concrete sidewalk. Sunny Kang is already on the phone with 911. Stryer takes one look back at the wounded attorney. Seconds later, witness and Reserve Deputy Sheriff David Katz tackles Stryer from behind.
A couple other people at that point had jumped on with me, and I was able to get his left arm behind after, and then I just held his arms behind his back until another deputy came in.
Back way.
Face down on the ground, Stryer's handcuffed. Police discover a second gun in his pants pocket.
Let's bring him straight to the lockup.
Meanwhile, Gerald Curry lies on the concrete with 5 bullets in him.
Paramedics are on the way. Check you out, okay?
Curry's rushed to the hospital, and thanks to the tiny tree and his quick thinking, he survives.
He is an extremely fortunate gentleman.
Dr. Charles Dang is an emergency physician who examines Curry. The first bullet, lodged in his neck, is only fractions of an inch away from Curry's spinal cord. This one bullet could have paralyzed or killed him in an instant.
There aren't too many people that get shot that many times and live to tell about it.
Because of Strier's poor health and mental state, his trial is delayed for years.
And I want to make a statement.
In 2006, he's in court, lying on a hospital gurney because of a back injury from years ago. He complains to the judge that he wants to fire his attorney.
I want to file an objection. You are forcing me to have this attorney. I was on solitary confinement for over 2 years. I am being beaten up there. I am being tortured up there.
The judge listens to Strier for more than 20 minutes and then cuts him off.
I've heard enough. The sentencing is on. I've heard enough.
Months later, the judge and Strier face off again in the courthouse.
But I have a right to make these statements.
Deputy, let's take him out.
The judge orders him out of the courtroom and sentences him.
The defendant is sentenced to life in prison.
William Strier is convicted of premeditated attempted murder with the use of a firearm. He's sentenced to life, plus an additional 25 years in prison, where he dies in 2007.
But some robbers are so inept, they can't help but get caught. Ashland, Ohio. On his way to work, police officer Rick Super stops at a convenience store for a cup of coffee and to visit friends.
You're in early tonight. A little bit.
He notices a suspicious character just out of the camera's range.
He was looking at me kind of strange when I was talking to you.
With Officer Super only a few feet away, the man approaches the counter.
How you doing? You want to lock that door for me? Huh? Lock the door. Lock what door? Lock that door.
The criminal holds an 8-inch knife, forcing Officer Super into action.
Back over here. You hold it right there, buddy. Put that knife down. Lay down on the ground. Get on the ground. Get out on the ground.
The officer tells the clerk to press the alarm button.
Don't you move, my friend. You feel like you know what that is?
Minutes later, several more officers arrive to haul in the suspect. For Officer Super, this convenience store robbery has turned out to be the most convenient arrest of his life.
The suspect has to work himself up into a position where he's willing to go in and confront the victim with violence to take their property. He gets what they call tunnel vision, and he focuses strictly on the cash register and strictly on the clerk and pays no attention to who else is in the store.
You hold it right there, buddy.
Wichita, Kansas, where a man is about to prove you really can fight City Hall. Marcus Johnson takes his huge luxury car for a midnight tour of this municipal building. It's an insane act of revenge for a ticket he got a few hours ago. Now, in his rage, Johnson tears through the elevator lobby, leaving a wake of garbage and guards in pursuit. Then he aims for the far security entrance. This is one way to beat a metal detector. Apparently, Marcus passes screening because he goes right on through and hits a wall that's waiting for him outside, where he's nabbed by police. So what infraction prompted this late-night drive-through? Marcus was ticked that cops stopped him that evening for having his stereo too loud. So he decided to make even more noise. His outburst earns him 10 years in prison and $142,000 in restitution. Now, instead of jamming to his tunes, he'll be singing the blues. Springfield, Michigan. Officer Jeff Johnson stops a car for a speeding violation. For tonight's patrol, the cop has a ride-along passenger, a civilian, who's watching Johnson from the safety of the cruiser. But what the citizen observer doesn't know is that he's about to experience the ride-along of a lifetime. In just seconds, this petty violator
right now, you're actually on driver's license, right?
turns into a dangerous opponent.
Stop. Pull away again, okay? No, I'm not, man. Don't pull.
And just like that, it's on. The speeder fights against the cuffs, a sign he's going to attack, so Johnson tries to take him down. But even a slam up against the sedan doesn't knock any sense into this guy. The struggling suspect forces his way into the driver's seat, a dangerous predicament for the cop. Amazingly, the unarmed ride-along boldly rushes in to help, but there's only room for two in the tight quarters of the car. Then the man does something really outrageous. With the patrolman still grappling, the driver punches the gas. The daring civilian tries to assist and nearly gets taken along on the harrowing peel-out. Now, instead of riding shotgun, the observer becomes the primary in a high-speed pursuit. He quickly catches up to the speed demon, who's got his hands full with the irate officer. Thinking fast, the citizen spots an opening and uses the cruiser to block the renegade in. It pays off. The perp bails on foot, and the honorary deputy is right on his heels. Officer Johnson and his new sidekick make short work of the fugitive.
One in custody, 2158.
The fact that a civilian busted him doesn't seem real. And even cuffed in the back of the squad car, the loser still doesn't get it.
You saw somebody could go get the car? No, it's getting towed. Why, is nothing wrong with it? Dude, are you kidding me?
If this dope had more brains, he could have avoided some serious felony charges. Fortunately for the city of Springfield, there's no shortage of guts in their police department or their citizen lawmen. Atlanta, Georgia. At this travel lodge, a soon-to-be legendary stick-up man enters the lobby. He pauses at a vending machine, unaware he's buying his last meal. The snacker comes to the counter and asks clerk Varjas Patel if he has change for a 50. But when Patel counts the bills, the robber pulls a pistol, a move that's about to seal his fate. The frightened clerk cooperates as the man empties the drawer almost casually. Unfortunately, that's also how he's holding his gun. As the crook grabs the dough, he accidentally squeezes the trigger, firing twice. The first shot hits Patel in the stomach, but the recoil throws the barrel back, shooting the gunman point blank. Patel painfully reaches up to the desk and calls 911, with the deadly weapon lying next to him on the counter. He'll recover in the hospital, but the thief will not. He foolishly thought waving a pistol would help him score a few easy bucks. But not knowing how to handle the tools of his illegal trade was a killer.
December 8th, 2004 is a day that I wish would have never happened.
Because on that night, Officer Niggemeyer would cross paths with Dimebag Darrell, a famed heavy metal guitarist for the group Pantera, who was shot while performing at the Alrosa Villa nightclub. It was up to Officer Niggemeyer to face down his assassin.
Unit 185 on the route, driver stop. Just starting my shift when the radio dispatcher aired that there was a shooting at the Alrosa Villa nightclub.
43, male inside the Alrosa on stage with a 33. Shots still being fired.
So I'm thinking just get there as fast as I can to help whoever's there that needs help.
Shots still being fired. Get additional calls.
You're hanging on every word that the dispatcher's saying because that is the only thing that you have to go on.
Suspect's going to be a male white wearing a dark-collared hockey jersey.
Niggemeyer will have to face the fanatic alone. He's the only officer on the scene.
185 on the scene. We got people running everywhere.
There is something still going on because these people wouldn't be running if it wasn't.
Copy 185 is the scene. Suspect is still inside the bar.
Niggemeyer risks going in alone and doesn't wait for backup.
I took my shotgun off the rack. I wanted to have a little more weaponry with me than my handgun. As soon as I got to the back of the club, everyone was pointing in the same direction. And they were all yelling, "He's there, he's still shooting, you've got to stop this, you've got to help, get in there, please."
Approaching from behind the stage, Niggemeyer spots the shooter and hopes the killer won't see him.
I remember thinking, anything can happen. He can see me, it could be a shootout, and I thought, you know, I've got to react.
What Niggemeyer sees next chills him to the core. The killer has taken a hostage. Things turn more deadly when the gunman fires wildly into the crowd.
It's definitely the most scared I've ever been. The adrenaline was off the charts.
Niggemeyer slowly edges closer. The murderer is only 20 feet away.
At that point, it was just tunnel vision. So now it's just him, the hostage, and me.
Incredibly, the armed madman still hasn't spotted Niggemeyer.
He was considerably larger than the hostage, and he was holding the hostage in a headlock, and the top of the hostage's head came up to about his chin. So I remember thinking that if I have to shoot, I wanted to make sure that I didn't shoot low. I thought, okay, well, he's obviously preoccupied with something out in the crowd, looking a different direction than I was. I remember a bunch of people yelling, "Shoot him, shoot him!" I remember thinking, I am not going to let him kill him in front of me.
Time's running out. Niggemeyer must act before the lunatic can take another life.
And I just raised up my gun and shot. First thing I thought was, please tell me I didn't hit the hostage.
Backup officers arrive and swarm the stage.
I heard one of them say, "He's down, you got him, he's down." And at that point, I knew that it was over. I remember thinking, what the hell did I just do? What have I been through?
The hostage survives, but Dimebag Darrell and 3 others lose their lives this night.
I sat down at home by myself and I watched that footage, seeing the suspect going across the stage, just thinking to myself, why? Why did you do this? What was the reasoning? Just a band trying to perform for people. I learned that he was just a mentally deranged human being that was not on his medication. You don't ever want to kill another human being. But I have come to the realization that if I didn't, there is no doubt in my mind that he would have killed me or the hostage.